The government has extended the nationwide lockdown by 10 more days until 7th of May amid the persistent threat of the spread of the COVID-19 in the country. Meanwhile, the global death toll due to the coronavirus pandemic has exceeded 206,000, with more than 2.97 million people infected worldwide and over 878,000 people recovering from the disease so far. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Government extends the nationwide lockdown by 10 more days until 7th of May. Cabinet deems the threat of the spread of COVID-19 still looms. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli finds himself in an unwarranted political crisis due to the scrapping of the two ordinances, looks for alternative to save his position in the government and the party. Italy brings plans to lift the strict restrictions imposed 7 weeks ago to curb the spread of the COVID-19 as the country records its lowest daily death toll since mid-March. And Italy's Serie A to return to individual training and team training in May after the government announces plan to ease the country's lockdown. The government has extended the nationwide lockdown by 10 more days up to 7th of May. The decision to extend the lockdown until 7th of May was taken during a meeting held yesterday at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar. This is going to be the fourth phase of the extended lockdown, while the third phase ends today. The country has been in the state of lockdown since 24th of March. The cabinet meeting also decided not to open the international transits until at least 13th of May. The high-level committee formed to combat coronavirus had concluded on Saturday that the country still faced the risk of COVID-19 spreading. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has found himself in an unwarranted political crisis due to the scrapping of the two highly controversial ordinances less than 4 days after they were promulgated. Reluctant to call a standing committee meeting against the demand of the opposition camp in the ruling party, Prime Minister Oli, according to sources, is looking for alternative to save his position in the government and the ruling Nepal Communist Party.
Having learned that the meetings of the disgruntled camp being held at the residence of party Vice Chairman Bamdev Gautam almost daily in recent days has concluded to ask for his resignation, Prime Minister Oli has started his own legworks to thwart such moves to oust him from the government. Despite 20 Central Working Committee members vehemently calling for a meeting of the Standing Committee, Premier Oli is in a mindset to defer the meeting at any pretext. The Prime Minister is barely enjoying the support of 10 members in the 44-member strong Standing Committee. The party statute has a provision for the Standing Committee meeting if 1/4 of the members decide to call the meeting. Working on his ploy to avoid the meeting, Prime Minister Oli has started holding separate meetings with members of party secretariat. The Prime Minister is trying to give the message that he is ready to review his personal performance and the government modus operandi in general. Meanwhile, NCP Executive Chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal and Senior Leader Madhav Kumar Nepal believe that it is the most opportune time to remove Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli from the position of the Prime Minister. Sources now claim that Premier Oli is trying to break this Dahal-Oli coalition to consolidate his position in the government. The Prime Minister is learned to have mobilized Deputy Leader of the Parliamentary Party Subhash Nemwang and Chief Minister of Province 5 Shankar Pokhrel to take Leader Madhav Kumar Nepal into confidence. Nemwang and Pokhrel, in a meeting with Leader Nepal, hinted at making him the party chairman from the next General Convention. It may be recalled that following the scrapping of the two controversial ordinances, Prime Minister Oli met with Executive Chairman Dahal and main opposition President Sher Bahadur Deuba to impart the message that he is willing to strike a consensus with the opposition factions within and outside the ruling party.
3 more people were tested positive for the novel coronavirus yesterday, taking the total number of cases in the country to 52. Among the 3 men, 2 are from Birganj and 1 from Jhapa. 2 50-year-old men from Birganj tested positive for the virus at Teku's National Public Health Laboratory. One of the infected is from Birganj Metropolis 3. The man was tested for the virus after he was found visiting the mosque where 3 Indian nationals who had tested positive for the virus had lived. Likewise, the other person who was tested positive was kept in quarantine at Siddhartha Secondary School in Birganj. Following yesterday's cases, the total number of people infected with COVID-19 has climbed to 52 in Nepal. Both the infected individuals have been kept in the isolation ward of Narayani Hospital. The 3rd individual testing positive yesterday is also a 50-year-old man from Jhapa. Altogether, 16 people have recovered from the virus and have been discharged from the hospital.
धेरै जसोको संक्रमितहरूको लक्षण विहीन हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरू केहीको सामान्य लक्षण मात्र छ जटिलता छैन मृत्यु भएको छैन र निको भएर पनि 16 जना गइसकेको अवस्थालाई हेर्दाखेरि करिब 1/3 सन्चो भएर गइसकेको अवस्था छ यो हिसाबमा पनि हामी चाहिँ संक्रमितको उपचारमा पनि सामान्य स्थितिमा रहेको देखाउँछ
According to the Health Ministry, 1,027 samples from 8 districts in Province 2 have been collected for coronavirus tests. Altogether, 9,931 people have undergone tests through the PCR method in the country so far, while 41,436 were performed with the rapid diagnostic test. The number of Nepalese nationals who have succumbed to COVID-19 abroad has climbed to 49. As many as 33 Nepalese nationals have lost their lives in the UK due to COVID-19 infection. This is the highest death toll compared to other nations with Nepalese population. Likewise, according to the Non-Resident Nepalese Association, 10 Nepalese nationals in the US and 2 in the United Arab Emirates have died due to coronavirus infection. A person each from Nepal has also died due to coronavirus infection in Japan, Ireland, Turkey, and the Netherlands. Altogether, 1,983 Nepalese nationals in 24 different nations other than the SAARC countries have been detected with the novel coronavirus so far. Welcome back. The government has started efforts to rescue the Nepalese migrant workers stranded in foreign countries. The government is going to use the Workers' Welfare Fund resources to rescue the stranded migrant workers. Over 1.5 million Nepalese migrant workers are currently stationed in Malaysia and the Gulf countries, which have been gripped by the COVID-19 pandemic. Some 200 Nepalese nationals have already been infected by coronavirus. Many Nepalese workers have also lost their jobs due to the pandemic. There are mounting problems for migrant workers whose work permits have expired and those who are living illegally. The government has now started preparations to rescue these workers after the diplomatic agencies in the respective countries informed the Nepal government about the crisis situation of these migrant workers. A meeting of the High-Level Committee on Combating COVID-19 discussed possible ways to utilize the Workers' Welfare Fund, which has an amount of 5 billion rupees collected from the Nepalese migrant workers. The fund was established for rescue efforts, compensation, and delivery of dead bodies from abroad. Ever since the government disrupted all international flights, some 100 dead bodies of migrant workers in various Gulf countries are waiting to be delivered back to Nepal. Meanwhile, after the Nepalese migrant workers in Malaysia and Bahrain asked for 1.5 million rupees each, citing problems for lodging and fooding, the Labour Ministry has directed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to collect data of migrant workers in these countries. Coronavirus tests have not been performed on 66 Indian nationals even after 3 weeks since they were kept in quarantine in Ram Secondary School of Hawaldarpur in Banke district. In the absence of tests, their quarantine period has been extended while the risk of contracting coronavirus remains intact. The 66 Indian nationals from Nanapara of India, situated about 20 kilometers south from the Nepalganj transit, have been kept in quarantine at Kohalpur municipality. These Indian nationals were operating small-scale businesses in Nepal. They had reached Banke on 8th of April on foot, all the way from Chitwan. However, their tests have not been conducted till date. Nepal and India have struck an agreement to manage and keep each other's citizens in quarantine in their respective countries. The Indian nationals stuck in Nepal are the responsibility of the Nepal government. However, the government has failed to conduct coronavirus tests as of now. Lack of testing kits has prolonged the quarantine period of these Indian nationals, while also adding to the financial burden on the local government. Welcome back. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question. Why have organizations supposed to research on pandemic remained unproductive? Your options are A, lack of research practice, B, lack of resources, and C, no idea. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for our special segment, Off the Beat.
The number of people heading to their respective hometowns due to loss of employment as a result of the ongoing nationwide lockdown has increased. Almost 200,000 people have returned from different countries including India, Malaysia and Gulf nations. At a time when fertile lands are barren in the country and the supply of essential goods affected due to the lockdown, the scenario is likely to trigger food crisis in the coming days. The Agriculture Ministry has already issued a circular to all the local levels calling for a renewed strategy to bolster agricultural produce and to avoid a possible famine-like situation. The greater demand for food has also increased the opportunity for local levels to increase agriculture production as the youth workforce is currently stationed at its home districts. If the government takes initiatives to formulate strategy to increase production in the country, it can prevent the possible food scarcity despite the obstruction in imports. Meanwhile, the timber smugglers and wildlife poachers have taken undue advantage of the nationwide lockdown. As general activities have been minimal during the lockdown period, it has been a challenge for authority to control poachers and smuggling of timber in the forest region of Bara district. The Division Forest Office of Bara district arrested a person who was felling trees illegally at the Bara forest region on 25th of March, a day after the lockdown started in the country. The forest security team confiscated 45 pieces of timber on 6th of April, which had been smuggled from the forest in Chakari of Bara district and found hidden after being sawed down to pieces.
शिकार गर्नलाई एउटा ठुलो बिरो चाहिँ हाम्रो वन क्षेत्रको जैतापुर पोस्ट एरियामा चाहिँ प्रवेश गरेको अवस्थामा 3 गते राति चाहिँ हामीले 8 जनालाई समात्न सफल भयौं। त्यसपछि हिजो मात्र चाहिँ हामीले 2 जना मान्छेलाई चाहिँ करिब 6-7 सेफ्टी सालको काठसहित चाहिँ पक्राउ गरेर ल्याएर 7 दिनको म्याद थपेका छौं।
A group of poachers even carried out a plan to hunt wildlife in the jungle of Jitapur, taking advantage of the lockdown. However, the group was arrested by the Forest Security Patrolling Team on 15th of April. Since the lockdown began on 24th of March, the Division Forest Office of Bara district has taken 12 people into custody for smuggling timber and poaching wildlife. These types of activities have significantly increased in Bara forest region, taking advantage of the nationwide lockdown. Incidents related to violence against women have been reported across the nation since the lockdown began on 24th of March. 20 rape cases and 11 domestic violences were reported in Province 5 alone in the past 1 month. However, victims are finding it difficult to file complaints, and taking action against the culprits has also been challenging due to the ongoing lockdown.
यो बेलामा चाहिँ अपराध गर्दा उम्किन सकिन्छ भन्ने सोच पनि होला अपराध गर्ने मान्छेको हैन किनभने अहिले जस्तोसुकै अपराध जस्तोसुकै अन्य बिरामी भए पनि अस्पतालमा जाँदा उपचार नपाउने र यहीमा केन्द्रित छ भनेर हामी न्यूज पनि हेरिरहेका छौं।
A majority of the victims during the ongoing lockdown have suffered at the hands of their own relatives or neighbors. According to the police, it has nonetheless been a challenge to investigate on all these cases as the majority of the security personnel are directed towards maintaining the lockdown orders. Due to the risk of coronavirus spread, defendants are not taken to court and justice delivery has further been delayed. This is Bipashna Thamang for Off the Beat and Kantipur News Desk.
And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and stay safe.